This is the world of Ysterra, where history, magic, and innovation are at its very core. It is a land that was forever molded by a dying deity that gave its last breath to the world, to the twin suns that the world orbits, to the 3 moons that orbit her. This place of wonder, where long seasons, currents of magic, even the phases of the moon have nurtured Ysterra's ever-evolving array of civilizations. Then there are the Ascendant, birthed from the divine essence that permeates the world over the many eons since. They are the guardians of the elemental and divine forces of the world. They ensure the safety of the many people upon the world from the various threats that exist in the multiverse and the realms beyond. From the bustling city-states of Escos and the like to the mystical Aelrus Mountains, the people on the world of Ysterra have thrived for countless generations. Their lives forever reflected in their diversity and the powerful nature that is to exist in such a magical place. Our adventure now takes place in the Valorian Imperium, an empire where social order and a deep reverence for tradition define every aspect of life. Once a patchwork of warring tribes and clans, this empire now stands as a unified nation under the current rule of the Empress Zedelise Valorian, a direct descendant of the founder of the Imperium. Here in this Imperium, the cities are centers of commerce and culture, where the hustle and bustle of trade and the richness of ancestral tradition mingle and coexist with one another. At the heart of the Imperium's unity is a delicate balance between progress and tradition. The Empress, she navigates this balance with a focus on preserving the legacy of her forebears while steering the nation towards a future of potential and discovery. And her rule has been marked by a cautious approach to change, ensuring that every step taken towards progress is also paying homage to the past. And coexisting in this space of pushing things forward is the clergy. Once political leaders, now they serve more as the moral compass of society. Through their virtue trials, once believed to be ceremonial, they have become critical to maintaining the societal fabric, reinforcing values such as discipline, unity, respect for the past and your ancestry. And this has not come without cost to the Empire, despite whatever social unity it brings to the fabric of the Imperium. Beneath the surface of all of this harmony and order lies a subtle undercurrent of restless curiosity. Some within the Imperium desire exploration, searching of new ideas and new places, often finding themselves quite at odds with the stringent traditions that bind their society. And it is this tension between the comfort of order and the allure of the uncharted that creates a subtly constrained environment for some. In the Imperium, progress often comes as a byproduct of its adherence to tradition, not as a primary pursuit. The Empire's evolution is slow within its own history. Only a little more than 1,500 years since its founding, innovation that has come during that time has emerged not as a goal, but perhaps more of a unintended consequence of the people's ingenuity and resilience more than anything else. And our adventurers now find themselves in the grand city of Orlustran, a marvelous creation that took decades to build. A canal city built off of a nearby river in a once farming community that has now turned into the third largest city in all of the empire. With its trade that expands far and wide, reaching every corner of the continent of Valoria that the empire thoroughly controls, Orlustran was built in its foundations with faith. When the Church of Orlumus took interest in this small farming community, turning itself into a trade hub, and they saw potential. With the creation of the canals, we see people thriving with ingenuity, thriving in a place that was not easy, persevering through circumstances that some might have thought folly. Now, nearly 2 centuries since Orlustran's creation and the rapid growth of this grand city, let us find out a little bit about those that dwell here. I would like to give each of our players an opportunity, perhaps, to introduce their characters a little bit more thoroughly, to describe themselves and what it is that they do, what makes them them, and then perhaps we can talk about a little bit of the day that they find themselves waking up to on this 7th morning of the year 3982. Beth, do you want to begin and perhaps tell us a little bit about 80?
I would love to. So 80 is a young half-elven woman. She is 24. She is a pretty vibrant personality. So she's got strawberry blonde hair that's pulled like half up and sort of haphazard. She's got bright eyes. She's typically smiling. And she is a twin. She's got a twin sister. Gosh, what else about her? That's all you need to know, I think, right now.
Okay. So what is 80 doing this morning as the twin suns are alighting the skies? It's a relatively clear day, if a little bit of cloud cover perhaps, but what is she up to this morning?
Well, she's actually just getting off of a night of work. She worked
Where does she work?
a late overnight shift. She works at a bar and comedy club called Joke and Mirth. She does some bartending there. She's been asked to tell jokes one time when some talent wasn't able to show up and promptly turned them down. Not that she's not confident, it's just that she doesn't have the jokes. But yeah, she just had a night that was fine. They brought back this comedian that was just not funny and has not improved since the last time he was there. So she had to deal with that, but the patrons took pity on her, and so she was able to make some decent money. But just another late night.
All right. So as you are finishing up your work shift at the bar, your replacement, the day shift individual, comes walking in. Phelan is a tall half-elven man, or I'm sorry, non-binary half-elven person. White hair, shaved on one side, kind of curled over, tattoos all up the neck, full sleeve tattoos as well. They tend to wear fairly loose-fitting clothes, and come in yawning as ever, having probably just woken up mere minutes before making their way downstairs. This tavern also has rooms to rent for those that perhaps need a place to sleep off a night of laughter and drunkenness. And so as Phelan kind of emerges from the stairs, yawning, stretching out, they look around. They see the handful of early morning patrons that for some reason like coming here for coffee, before seeing you behind the bar cleaning up a few things. They just casually make their way over to the bar and kind of lean both hands on it and seem like they want to say something, but you're kind of just watching them out of the corner of your eye while you finish uncomfortably wiping a few of the glasses down. There's this awkward silence that occurs for a little bit before they clear their throat, and they say, "How's the night?"
It was fine. They brought Jerry back, which is a huge fucking mistake, but
you know, sometimes it's not about the people. It's not about being funny. It's about seeing people fall on their ass. And, well, that happens now and then. So, right. I'm gonna get some coffee. And they just kind of awkwardly step over and start pouring themselves a cup from the press that you had done just a little bit earlier.
I finish wiping things up and just, for fuck's sake, start gathering my things a little bit more quickly than I normally do to get the heck out of here.
They just kind of sip the coffee and watch you. There's an uncomfortable kind of stare before they shake their head and put the coffee down. So, all right, well, I guess you're not coming in tonight, right? You've got today and tomorrow off, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, that's about it. Well, you just have a fantastic shift today, Phelan. I'm just gonna...
I will do that. Say hi to Mira, please.
I cannot do that. Terribly sorry.
All right.
You know it's for the best.
I know. It's just... It's not always easy, you know?
Oh, I know. I'm very familiar.
Well...
But I'm not your messenger, so do it yourself. And I'll turn and start walking out.
Ouch. Have a good day. And they just kind of turn back and you disappear out the front door, leaving behind that tension.
Yeah, I head out. So Joke and Mirth is, it's looks like a basic storefront, but there's sort of like a door off to the side and an alleyway, and you have to go down some spiral stairs to get down into the club proper. So on the way out, 80 opens up the door, and the sun is actually there, and has to sort of blink away a bit of that brightness after coming out of the dark hole where she works, and steps out into the morning.
As you step out into the morning, trying to remember, which district did we think the comedy club was in?
That's a great question. Deb, where is it?
Again, great question. Have a second.
Is it in the artifacts district?
Yeah,
No,
I think it'll probably be in artifacts. So
Okay.
we'll just say that it's in
Okay.
artifacts.
Great.
And where is it that you live? Because you guys never told me where you live.
Yeah, so we live, shit, I need my map.
Probably Hearthstone?
No, it was, Deb, where was it?
I mean, Beth and I talked about living in the artifacts quarters, but yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
but probably not on the same island as Folk&Myth.
No.
So as you are beginning to make your way towards your apartments, are you going to take a gondola, which is the primary mode of transport here in Orlustran, or are you planning to walk it? For what it's worth, to describe to our viewers here, Orlustran is not what you would call a walkable city. It is a very, very low score in all the real estate indexes when it comes to being walkable. Orlustran's roads tend to be very narrow. The massive number of islands that are crisscrossed by the canals throughout the city are only connected by very, very small bridges, mostly just walkway bridges. Like if someone did have to, or when someone does have to bring a carriage or a cart or something through the city, they take up basically the entirety of a bridge when they cross it, right? Except for some of the main bridges, which are a bit larger, but for the most part, you have to navigate through the small bridges. And so gondola travel is the primary mode to get around. And if you need to send any bulk of goods to and fro across the city, that is handled by barges also in the canals. Occasionally you will actually see some barges just hauling people, like, you know, an entire office that needs to get to their destination will just plop everybody, 20 plus people down on a barge and take them to their destination. But for the most part, it's gondolas, and gondolas handle a great many things besides just transportation to and fro. There are also what one might consider the food trucks of Orlustran, and in gondolas that are more like miniature barges set up with kiosks and small stalls to act as vendors for food and the like. And so it's the primary way to get around, but it's not always the easiest. Sometimes easier than walking. But given the fact that you are just getting off of your work shift in the morning, I imagine the city is very much awake at this point.
Yeah. I'll definitely be taking a gondola, but first I'll walk just a little bit. Probably not to the nearest gondola, but I want to pass through, and there's a small market nearby, and I'd like to pick up an apple or something, and then continue on. But I'll hop on a gondola, and I enjoy it. It's fun. The novelty is still there,
Yeah. Well, perhaps we can also talk a little bit about 80, and by connection Mira, in that you have come back to Orlustran not that long ago, having spent half your young life growing up here, or around that somewhat a bit. So what has the previous year been like for 80 coming back to Orlustran?
Well, it has been something, Miko, let me tell you.
Please.
Yeah, I mean, it was exciting to come back. Mira is like, the smartest person I know and is doing incredible things. And so we came here for that. And also because our brother Burke lives here and it's kind of fun to see him, He stayed here. We were in Orlustran until we were about 10 and then moved for our parents' work. And then eventually we found ourselves back here. So the novelty of the gondolas is still there for me. And the year has been interesting. I've worked several different jobs that have all been fun in one way or another.
But I remember Baker. You said Baker at one point. Was florist in there? They have flower. Was that delivery person?
No.
Flower delivery?
I did not work at the florist. The florist was across the road from the bakery.
Oh,
we don't talk
got it.
about the flower shop.
Sorry, I mentioned the flower shop. So
we'll get there eventually.
We'll move on. 80 has been doing a number of odd jobs the past year to try to maintain some level of monetary gain in the city so that she's not just mooching off of the student stipend that Mira gets, right? So as 80 plops down into a gondola, there's dozens of them around. Unfortunately, this time of morning, you're not able to get a gondola by yourself. That's just practically impossible. But that's kind of just the way it goes. You basically hop in, say where you're going, and the gondola driver will take the best route that they can whilst dropping, any other person's off on their way. So the gondolas are also maintained by the city. This is not a service that you pay for. Tipping is appreciated, of course, but the gondolas kind of just go everywhere. And so the city keeps them up. It's almost like your own, although it's not personal, I guess, but it's almost like mass transit in, cities of today. And that's how it's handled here in Orlustran. So as 80 steps down into a gondola that had just been unloading a couple of passengers, she sees an individual sitting across from her that is very, very, very obviously a student that is on their way to Occam, which is where Mira is probably on her way to right now. And so they're like head down in a book. You're looking at like probably late teens, 17, 18-year-old human boy. Very apt description, as he still has like dimples and like that cute, adorable young person that looks like they're barely out of puberty. Voice probably hasn't fully finished coming in yet. As they're just sitting there reading their book, they glance up at you and then kind of bury their head further down into their book. And
what are you studying?
Just looks up at you. Deer caught in headlights moment for them.
Just curious.
Transmutation. That's today's test that I am not prepared for.
You'll be fine. Oh, it's okay. Oh God, it's gonna be great.
Sure. Yeah. No, it's great. Only,
Look, do your best.
The worst possible
Fake
thing that could ever happen if I fail. Shame on the family and all that.
Just try your best. It'll all be wonderful. It's just one test in the grand scheme of everything.
It's always just one test. And then there's tomorrow. and the next test, and the next test, and then convocation, where you have to answer divinely to your test. I don't even know how
My
people
sister did
graduate.
it. It's fine.
Wait, your sister graduated from Occam?
Well, she's there. She's doing stuff.
Oh, she's still going.
Yes.
Okay, great. Here, I was hoping that I might be able to find somebody that knew an actual graduate.
I mean...
He looks like he's on the verge of having a panic attack at this point.
Oh, good Lord. Okay. Listen, don't drink any coffee, but get yourself a big glass of water when you get there. Take a breath. It's going to be fine.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. And it's around that point that the gondola driver taps his stick against the side of the boat, the side of the gondola, to let you know, or to let someone know that they are reaching the destination, and you notice that it's yours.
Oh, thank you. And she'll hop off.
Gondola driver just kind of waits there for a few seconds.
Oh, I'll tip.
Okay.
I always tip. Yeah.
Just making sure.
Of course.
You flip him a couple of coins. He expertly snags them out of the air with his hat, and then puts his hat back on his head and starts, pushing the gondola back along. Someone comes running past you saying, wait, and jumps into the gondola, almost tipping it before the driver rests it back up. And you can see in his expression that he's cursing, but not going to say anything out loud because he's a public servant and all that. And so there you stand. Why don't you describe what your and Mira's neighborhood is like as you start making your way to your apartment?
Yeah. So it is definitely more of a neighborhood section of this portion of the town. We're not far from a really awesome artisans market that pops up, which I love personally. But down our street, it's a bit more residential. It's kind of quiet and nice. A handful of our neighbors are a little bit older, which I think is just very cute. And we live in a 2-flat with a downstairs neighbor, and we occupy the space above.
Okay, so as you're walking down the street, there's already a few of your neighborhood denizens sitting out in their lawn on or their garden at the front with painting easels all set up and stuff, painting the suns as they rise. There's 2 of them on one side of the street and another one on the other side of the street. And they're just every now and then, chit-chatting with one another as they, casually just paint the sunrise. This is something that happens on an occasion, being in an artsy community that you are. Thankfully for you, Artifacts quarters, the Artifacts quarter is pretty well maintained. It's not the Shallows, right? It's not Old Town. It's a pretty decent place, and just a few streets over in any direction, or maybe an island or 2 hop away, you can always find amazing food and people doing performances and the like. It's a pretty nice little hub of the city that kind of feels like its own little biome, as it were. And so as you make your way up to your door, make your way up to the front door, there's a little stairs, kind of rickety, that allows you to bypass the front of the place and go up to your flat. And as you turn to start going up the stairs there is a cat sitting on the stairs, just staring at you, just plopped right in the middle of them, as if they own the stairs, and that you have to pay service in order to get past the ferryman, so to speak. As they just look up at you, and you hear a voice from inside as the shutters on a window adjacent to the stairs just kind of open up. You hear, "Let her through, damn it." And you see your downstairs neighbor, Mr. Babineau, standing there. He's a very, very elderly man with a almost like cotton top white ploof of hair on the top of his head. He's wearing fairly baggy, like thick wool, like somebody just hand knit it, clothes, heavy jacket, so to speak. He's always complaining about how cold it is, despite, the winter is now technically over. I mean, spring equinox was just last week, and it's been a couple of months since you had any appreciably cold weather, but he always complains that it's too cold as he basically kicks open the window and yells, "Crowbar, get your furry butt back in here," and just starts patting the windowsill. "Morning, 80. How are you doing?"
"Good morning, Mr. Babineau. You look very lovely today. I like your sweater a lot." And she'll go over and pick up Crowbar, who mostly lets her until she
pretty friendly.
Cradles him. Yeah. And then he, chills out a bit. She'll walk over to the window and go to, hand him over.
Crowbar more or less leaps out of your arms as soon as you start, making the gesture towards the window, and then, turns their butt at you and just meows as Babineau just kind of scoops them up into his chest and starts scritching the top of his head. And there's that immediate rumble of purr that comes from Crowbar, and he says, "Long night?"
Yeah, not bad though. I don't feel too beat.
Well, you just missed Mira not too long ago.
Oh, shoot. Well, I kind of figured that might happen. She's been going in a little early,
She seemed upset.
Really?
Yeah. Mumbling something about having to meet with the professor today.
Oh, shoot. That's right. Okay. Well, thanks for letting me know. I can, I guess, have some dinner or something prepared.
Are you girls okay?
Again. Of course we are.
No, I mean it.
We're always okay.
Are you okay?
Mostly, yes. Okay enough, Mr. Babineau.
All right. Well, I like looking out for you too.
I know you do, and that's why we love you so.
Yeah, well, I can't help it.
What are you doing today?
Oh, sorry for the interruption. Lord Gazumba just raided with a party of 79. Giggity.
No kidding.
Indeed.
Welcome in,
Raiders. We are just getting started with tonight's adventure. Big shout out to Lord Gazumba. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Back into the action, though. Yes, so as Mr. Babineau and Crowbar are kind of sitting there, and he's not necessarily giving you the third degree, but, perhaps prying more than most neighbors would, he just kind of sighs heavily and says, you gals remind me of my Alice when she was your age.
Did you know her that long?
I was married for 50 years.
I know. I mean, is that why you keep us around?
I like saying that, I only ever had eyes for her, and she was the love of my life. But I'll freely admit that when I was perhaps a little bit younger than you, I had a dame or two on the sly, if you know what I mean. Before I met Alice.
Mr. Babineau, this is very new information.
No, it's not. I'm sure I've told you this thing. Isn't that right? And he
I'm gonna
just
tell Mira.
like scritches crowbar. Oh no, what will I ever do if you tell Mira?
I mean, she'll give it to you. Better look out.
Well, what I'm really looking for is some more pastries.
Oh,
Hint, hint.
I got some. Yeah. Oh no, I'll grab some for you. I'll bring them right down. Yesterday, I kind of tried a new thing with some cinnamon. I think you'll like it. We'll see. But I was
cinnamon.
feeling a little bit, yeah. Sometimes
The only thing that you have made that I've ever not liked was whatever that was with the cream cheese that one time. That just did not set right.
No, it was
Just saying.
was very bad. I know. I've gotten better.
Okay.
And I'll never make that specific recipe again. We have to do some trial and error, and then we find the best things. So we've got that for you. Are you going to get out and enjoy the sun today?
God, I hope not.
Come on, it's a beautiful day.
I know.
Sit out here with crowbar, watch the people
kidding.
pass.
I'm kidding.
All right.
It'll be fine. And then he just looks at you with dead seriousness and says, "So how's Mira? I haven't seen her much lately." And at that moment, you realize he's having another memory fault.
She's doing okay, Mr. Babineau.
Good.
Just very busy with school.
Mm-hmm.
She's doing really well over there.
I hope so.
You'd be very proud.
Indeed. Well, next time you see her, make sure you tell her how much I appreciate all she does.
I absolutely will. And I've got some pastries for you, so don't go
wonderful.
too far.
No cream cheese, right?
No cream cheese. Never again.
Great.
Okay.
We'll just be sitting right here waiting for him, won't we, Crowbar? And he just gives Crowbar a little scritch, who just meows at you.
Buddy. I'll run up and grab a plate full of pastries that we have from some early morning experimentation that I've been doing after these night shifts. And I'll just bring them right down to him.
Okay. You spend a little bit of time with Mr. Babineau, just chit-chatting away before you can feel yourself getting tired. You know that you're supposed to meet up with Vi later in the afternoon, so you've got to get some sleep in somewhere. And so you finish up with Babineau and Crowbar and head up and start taking a nap.
Yeah.
Deb, would you like to tell us a little bit about Mira and what Mira is up to today?
Yeah. Hey, it's me. I'm Mira. I'm 80's twin sister. Mira is a 24-year-old half-elf. She has sort of long blonde hair, pulled back all of the time. And she has rushed off to her classes because she is a student at Occam, and she is frustrated about the day already. She woke up a little bit late and later than she intended.
Perhaps we should actually say what Occam means, because
of course.
Occam is an acronym for the Orlustrian Conservatory of Arcane Magics, just so everyone is aware. We keep using Occam, and I just realized we hadn't actually said what that is.
Yeah. It is also connected, it's intertwined with the Illuminated Heart, which is the cathedral dedicated to Orlumis in the city. So she has rushed off, grabbed a gondola to get to class, and is just feeling frazzled today.
Okay. Well, not to contribute overly much to the frazzling, but on the way there, after hopping off of the gondola and making your way towards the cathedral that you have to go past in order to get to the university classrooms, you realize that today is the 7th. And once every 7 days, you are required to attend convocation.
Fuck. Yep. It's the 7th. Okay. Great. Awesome.
On the plus side, whenever you go to convocation, your professors are required to excuse you from classes for that day.
Yep.
Convocation is held every day. You only have to attend once every 7, so it seems like a, easy thing to do for most, but perhaps not as easy for Mira.
Mira just looks at the bag that she has crammed full of books and is like, I brought all these for nothing. This day is a waste already. Okay. All right. Guess I'll get it over with. She heads toward the cathedral, and once she's inside, she sits like as close to the door as she can, and just
unfortunately she ends up stuck in like the middle of a pew because there's like 12 other students doing the exact same thing.
Yep. It's just the kind of day that I'm having today. This is great.
Yeah.
This is
but
fun.
In this grand cathedral from inside where, probably close to 400 or 500 students and faculty and, members of the church are seated, it's still an amazing sight to behold, right? The light of Orin and Yedris peer in through the windows and illuminate everything. There is no need for torchlight or magical light or any other kind within the cathedral, because as long as the twin suns are in the sky, the cathedral itself is engineered to reflect the light from the suns within and without as an almost beacon-like tower to the city. The cathedral itself is, of course, hundreds of feet tall, more than 300 feet tall, the absolutely largest building in the city, probably the largest building on the entire northern region of the continent. And it doesn't take long, despite the burden that Mira feels. It doesn't take long for her to settle into the convocation, to feel the overwhelming awe of the place. The priest that is standing in front of everyone, giving the sermons of the day, is going into great detail of the need for Orlumis light, not just within you as a person, the general you, but also for everyone around, whether they follow Orlumis teachings or not. It is needed, because only through that light can we illuminate a path forward, and only through discovery can that mean anything. And so, despite the usual context in which Mira finds herself hating these sermons, by the end of it, the only thing that she hates is the fact that it was hours away from the study that she wants to do, even if it was still, meaningful in a way. And so as the sermons end and the fellowship of students and faculty and followers kind of break up, there's pockets of discussion that start taking place amongst those that know each other. What does Mira do?
Mira sort of says a couple of pleasantries to people that she recognizes and then skirts her way out the door. She, as much as she appreciates the beauty inside the cathedral and the less rancorous messages she heard today, she still is itching to be out of the cathedral and back in the more studious places and getting back to all of the work that she feels like she's behind on.
Fair enough. Well, it was only the morning that was wasted, a few hours out of the day. So as the sun's crest highest in the sky, she heads off to class first or personal study?
She heads to class first.
Okay. And what is it that she's taking classes for this semester?
She is working on abjuration this semester.
And how's she doing with that?
Fine. She got a little behind because she had a breakup a couple of months ago and stewed in her emotions for longer than she should have and neglected her studies. She finds abjuration itself to be fairly interesting and engaging because it's one of the reasons that she got into magic, and she wants to be a wizard because she wants to learn how to protect her sister, and she wants to figure out the best ways and means that if something happens, she can protect 80.
All right. Do you think she has any trepidation of finals coming up next month?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Every student does at this school.
I wasn't sure because, she said she liked abjuration, so...
Yeah, but there's still exams.
Fair enough.
Did I build myself into this character? Maybe a little.
Maybe a little bit. So, class for the day goes remarkably well. You don't necessarily learn anything new per se, but you make a lot of notes about things that are going to be on the test. And as you reach kind of the mid-afternoon hour, you are done with your classes. Where are you off to next?
I think the library, just to keep cramming in more studies, and I need to catch up on some of the lectures that I missed and the notes that I scribbled down and organize things. And I just throughout the day, I think Mira's hair is getting more and more disheveled and unruly because she's just I'm so far behind, and I just need to get on top of this and it will be fine.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to spend a few hours in the library. Do you attempt to go for any of the studies that we had previously discussed, or is this just a normal library session?
I think it's just a normal library session.
Okay. So then after spending a couple of hours in the library, you pack up and start making your way out. Are you headed home?
I realize at the end of the day that I had been asked to go visit Professor Evander, and I just look up and I'm like, oh, Scott, I forgot about this and I needed to do this earlier. Okay, it's fine. He'll still be in his office. All right. And I head, I book it across the courtyard in the direction of his office.
I love the dichotomy of 80s day versus Mira's day. 80s spent the day, the night shift, listening to bad comedy and slinging, alcoholic beverages to people. And meanwhile, Mira is sitting here losing her friggin' mind and hair.
Yes. Yep.
So, yes. Mira makes her way across Occam to the professor's hall, which is basically some professors actually live on campus. Evander is not one of them, but consequently, Evander also has a fairly large and prominent office. He serves as the dean for one of the schools of study here at Occam, and he is Mira's faculty advisor. And so as she approaches his office, does she do anything to prepare herself?
No, not at all. She flies into
Okay.
his office, just bursts in.
Gotcha.
She barely knocks first.
Okay. As you burst into the office, you see Professor Evander. He is a dwarven man. He's not overly tall. He is probably, I'm sorry, not dwarven man. He was a human man, was he? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Human man, not overly tall. He's definitely in his, perhaps late 50s, early 60s. He has a fairly well-maintained beard and very tightly cropped hair. For what it's worth, just so in case people aren't picking up on it, there is a cultural significance to people wearing their hair up or having very short hair to have their ears exposed. And we might get into more details about that at a later point. So it is significant when you see an individual that does not have their ears shown, for what it's worth. But as Mira kind of bursts into Evander's office, she sees him kind of lounging behind his desk. His feet are propped up on one corner of the desk. He has a book in one hand and his glasses kind of just twirling them between his fingertips in the other. And he just casually looks up and then places his glasses back on his nose and snaps the book shut. Ah, you came. I was wondering if I was going to have to send out a messenger to have you come.
I'm so sorry. This whole day has been horrible. I woke up late and then it was convocation, which you know that I love so much. You don't need to know this. Yes.
I did catch a glimpse of today's sermons, so I can only imagine how fidgety you were. Please, sit.
I sit down.
Look, Mira, I will be honest with you. I wanted you to come and see me because I am growing concerned. A few of your instructors have said that the work that you are turning in of late is incomplete, that it is not up to the standards by which you had held yourself so dearly 1 year ago.
You're right. It's not. I got behind and sometimes I don't even know what I'm doing here.
Would you like me to remind you of what you told me you wanted to do here when you and I first met? Because I can, although I'm pretty sure your memory is better than mine, and you know word for word what it was that you told me.
Maybe if you said it, I would listen more. I don't always listen to myself.
Fair enough. You told me that you wanted to open the gates of understanding within your mind in ways that you have never been challenged to do before. And I thought, when I looked at the conviction in your eyes, that you would be able to do that without question. And I still think that that is true, but The path that you are currently taking is hampering you. Something is holding you back in a way, or it's standing in your path. And I'm here to help. You know that.
I know. I just feel like I have so many questions that don't have answers, or questions that people here don't want answered.
My dear, you have summed up this place more accurately than you could ever know.
So why should I keep going?
Because sometimes it's not about what you seek. Sometimes it's about the path that takes you to what you seek.
At this point, I don't even know if I can catch up.
Your mother did.
What do you mean?
Well, I know that you like to hold your mother up on some kind of a pedestal. Many people do. But she almost failed multiple times when she studied here for, 11 years?
She's never spoken of that.
Of course not. Who would? She had her own difficulties. But I will say that I have never seen a woman more driven in the end than your mother.
That is indeed true of Kalea. I just don't know if I can be driven in the same way.
Don't know where your family is. Burke still lives here in town, I know that much. Perhaps you should go and talk to him. Not today, not tomorrow, just when you can. Talk to him. Because when he was a wee babe, when your mother graduated from this place, when she was accepted into the clergy post that, she looked upon him with such reverence, such delight. And I knew that she was doing everything that she did for him and for her family. Obviously, you came sometime later and all that, so I don't think that you were even a memory of thought in her mind yet. But if I know anything about Kalea, the way that she looked at your brother in his wee little naps, I think that she found her conviction in the love of her family. I think you can find a similar conviction in the love of your sister.
But what if it leads me down a path that others don't want me to take?
That's all the more reason to take it. Do not let anyone keep you from illuminating your own path, from reaching an understanding of the things that you hold dear. As illustrious as this place is, as many amazing and intelligent people that have graduated from these halls, this is not the place that you will spend the rest of your life. This is but a small fraction of the many years to come.
If only I knew where I wanted to go.
No one expects you to know exactly where you want to go. Other than you. Now look, your instructors love you dearly. No one is trying to harm you in any way or get you kicked out or anything of the sort. They're just worried because the level of what you have done in recent months has not quite been what it was at the beginning. And this happens. Many students go through this sort of thing. So we're here to help in any way that we can. I'm here to offer you guidance and to provide you direction when you feel that you are directionless. And in this moment, I'm telling you, you have plenty of time. Finals are a month away. Abjuration is one of the most earnest fields of study that I think you could be doing right now, and you seem quite taken by it. Even your less than materia that you have produced is better than 70 or 80% of the students of this school. So, do not burden yourself overly much. Take this opportunity to relax a little. You do not need to get perfect grades in your coursework today. Next semester will be harder. That is what you should be preparing for. All right?
Thank you, Professor.
Anyway, are you going to be seeing the shower tonight?
I think so.
Well, you might want to find a good seat, as it were. Not many people are going to be afforded the luxury of seeing it in such vibrancy. You know, this is the first time that we've been able to predict this meteor shower in probably a century, maybe two. It's going to be one of the most grand spectacles I think anyone has witnessed in these skies that is alive today.
My sister knows some decent spots.
Good then.
Anything
You'll be
else?
okay, I promise.
If I can keep my head above water.
There are plenty of people here to lend you a hand.
Thank you.
Speaking of your sister, how's she doing? She found another job, I hope.
She did.
Why do I feel like you do not approve?
Because one of her coworkers is the reason I missed so much class?
Are we venturing into an area of discussion that is perhaps unseemly for a professor to be having with their student?
I don't know. Maybe?
All right. Well, best of luck to young AD, and to you as well.
Thank you.
You have time, don't worry. Now, off with you, I have to finish. And he just kind of picks up the book and cracks it open and takes his glasses off.
She leaves the room and slumps against the wall for a couple seconds before gathering all of her things and heading toward home.
Okay. As Mira is on her way home, as she is exiting Occam, she deftly avoids a familiar red and golden colored dress. The woman inside of that dress more than anything else, avoiding that encounter and making her way to the closest gondola that she can for her journey back. And we will pivot, perhaps backtrack a little bit to the, well, I don't know if it's the wee hours of the morning, or perhaps, when does Vi wake up, Andrew?
Vi wakes up whenever she wants.
That's why I'm not sure when to say she wakes up. So
I think it's probably, I don't know, 10 a.m., 11 a.m.
So mid-morning.
Yeah, just before the afternoon.
And tell us a little bit about Vi and where we find the young Violet.
Yeah, so Violet is a half-elf, barely 5'4". She's right now in a cramped, tiny cellar, rummaging through boxes and some bins, and she has a chest that she's about to open. How she looks, she has tousled, curly, unruly hair that frames her face. She has very violet purple eyes, and on her shoulder is her little pet rat named Bandit, who she kind of travels around with. And she's looking down at this chest, and she opens it. And you can tell it's a pretty big chest that used to have quite a lot of money. It was kind of her savings, and now it's very, very sparse. There's probably a few gold coins, some silver and bronze clips left. And she goes, God, it's not looking good, Bandit. It's looking pretty grim.
Your rat is basically just cleaning their face on your shoulder.
Maybe 80 will have a scam for us to run or something to make some more money. I promise no more smashy, grabby, stabby stuff, so it should be pretty harmless.
Just...
Yeah, okay, it's fine. She closes the chest, and then she'll reach behind it and grab a jar of something that's really bright red and viscous almost, and she'll look at it and she'll say to Bandit, I'll have to visit Jawline sometime soon and get some more of this stuff. I haven't seen him in a while. I think he's been sick, but we'll have to visit him out when we have time. And then she'll slowly climb up a really, really small ladder.
Okay.
And when she kind of opens up the latch, you see a really nice and well-kept kitchen. It's very orderly, very clean, stark contrast to the cellar that she was just in. And on the stove is a steamer basket that has some boiling water, and on a bench is a bunch of dough that's been rolled out into little rounds. And she opens up this viscous jar, and inside is this beautiful strawberry jelly. And she scoops it up and puts it in the dough and pinches it into little balls and puts it in the steamer basket. And she turns over to Bandit. I'll save you one. Don't worry. You'll be fine. You be good. I'm going to bring these to Mrs. Weathersby and let her taste it and tell me what she thinks. But I do have plans to go see 80. And, when I plan to see 80, she's either in trouble or she wants to get into trouble. So I'll be back later. But you hold down the fort. And I'll be back. And then she'll wrap up her buns, and she'll exit this kitchen. And the kitchen opens up into this Spartan-looking, dilapidated barge, a fairly big barge that could fit probably 10 people, but is being held together by string and tape and barely anything.
We can say ropes at least.
Yeah, ropes, string. Yeah, it's all there is it's just a hammock.
Second there with the rat and the string and everything. I thought you were, channeling a little bit of secretive Nim there.
So she'll hop off the barge. She is lucky enough to have her own kind of gondola that she uses to sneak in and out of the city that's painted black. And she'll head into the city, stopping by Hearth and Home, a bakery.
All right, well, let's get you there.
Sure.
So you leave Old Town right? The shallows, as it were, which is the area of town. This is the area of Orlustrin that is the oldest portion of the city. This is where there are still buildings here from the original farming community and trade hub that was first present when the city was then known as Phaedradel. And it's not. There are a few buildings here that need to be condemned, we'll just say. It's not the most well kept. Vi's barge is seemingly permanently moored at this point. It hasn't moved in a very, very, very long time, and is basically just tied to a picket that's stuck in a bit of the marshy ground at the very edge of one of the canal connections that connect it to the Satellite River. At this point of the day, it's relatively easy for Vi to catch a chain barge, which are the several barges that crisscross the Satellite River that connect the shallows to the rest of the city proper. It doesn't take a significant amount of effort to get this done. It does take a little bit of time though. And so it's probably going to be close to noon or a little bit thereafter before Vi finds themselves on a gondola making their way to towards Hearth and Home. And so as they are on this gondola headed towards the mercantile district where Hearth and Home is set up, Vi gets a few looks here and there. It actually takes her a couple of attempts to get a gondola, as you know, the first couple that she approaches spot her and quickly push themselves away from the edges of the canal, not willing to take Vi to wherever she needs to go. Eventually, she, does catch a gondola in time that they can't quite get away if they were even trying to. The gondolier just kind of shrugs it off, but there's an obvious discomfort as Vi sits and the couple of other people that are in the gondola with her just keep sending furtive glances to Vi with her hood up and her thick black hair kind of poking through the edges of the hood. Eventually, Vi finds herself at the edge of the Mercantia district, perhaps not in the spot closest to Hearth and Home that she had said, but the gondola driver basically just keeps tapping the side of the gondola until Vi gets out and she has to kind of truck her or walk her way to the next island over. People generally give Vi a bit of a wide berth. Is there anything in particular that Vi does as she is finding her way towards Hearth and Home?
Yeah, Vi kind of just pulls her hood up a little higher, a little closer, as she kind of makes her way to the market, realizing that she's kind of getting low on groceries. She might pop by if there's any grocery stands around or anything to try to grab some more fruit. She's feeling not great, but this is par for the course. But she is excited to share what she's made with Mrs. Weathersby. So
as she stops to pick up a fruit or some fruit from one of the stalls, it's just like one or two doors down from Miss Withersby's place, and she reaches over to grab or to start checking out one of the apples, and as she picks it up, she hears the voice of the man that mans the stall, and he just, "Hey, no, Put it down.
What do you mean?
I ain't selling you that.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Why not?
Why would I sell you anything?
Because I have the money to pay for it.
Yeah, and I have the option of not taking your money and choosing not to sell you things.
You're not serious.
Do I look like I'm joking? You think this is a comedy club?
I mean, the people there are really, really bad. You could probably make it.
What? Look, just put the fruit down.
You're
I'm not
actually
selling.
serious. You're actually
Yeah, I'm serious. I am invoking my rights as a merchant not to sell you something.
Scud off, and she'll walk away.
As she walks away, you hear him just kind of scoff and, not quite under his breath. There's yeah, that's right, you go. And
she'll just keep walking, and she'll flip him whatever inappropriate sign there is in this continent.
Sure, you flip him off. There's like you hear him. He at this point, he's halfway down the block from you, and so, yeah. That situation being what it was, there's now a couple of other people that have kind of joined over and are talking to him, and you can only imagine what kind of horrifyingly awful things that, these quote-unquote civilized people of the Imperium are saying about you as you find yourself standing in front of Hearth and Home.
I love this place. And she'll walk in.
So as you walk in to this bakery, you are immediately hit with the smell of fresh bread, fresh pastries. There's probably at least 5 or 6 pies in the oven that all of these just amazing odors are mingling together. It's like you're stepping into an entire other world almost that is separated from whatever was on the other side of that front door. And you the door has a bell at the top that kind of chimes as soon as it opens, and you hear a voice from the back that yells out, "I'll be right out, just give me 1 minute."
Yep, I'm here whenever you're ready.
Miss Violet, is that you?
It is.
And a white hat kind of pops out from the door. You can just barely see the eyes of Mrs. Withersby, and she says, "Oh, good. I was hoping I'd see you soon. Just 1 sec." And you hear this slamming of the oven door, and out pops Mrs. Withersby, a woman probably, I mean, you would never tell this to her face, obviously, probably in her 60s. She has a huge chef's hat on. She has very curly white hair that kind of pokes out from every corner of the hat. She's a fairly large woman. She is well plumped, we'll say. She fills out every portion of her chef's attire nicely, and she doesn't care. She has zero cares in the world in her demeanor and everything as she just steps out. She has her signature wooden spoon in one hand that she is stuffing into the tie of her apron, and you see her kind of carting a very fresh hot pie out of the oven in her other, obviously, oven mitt underneath, as she deftly slides it down upon the counter and starts taking a breath from it to get a whiff of it. She doesn't have to check. She knows that it's done to perfection just based on the smell. She breathes it in. My, I love me a good pie. Don't you, Violet?
Absolutely. What kind is this?
Rutabaga.
Ooh, rutabaga.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, we got some in from the south not too long ago. Not something we generally get up here in the marshlands, but had it come in special. I keep my ear out. I've got a man on the inside, and she winks at you a couple of times, who hooks me up with all kinds of fresh things from the south.
I've got a man too. His name is Jawline.
I don't even... I assume that is a chosen name and not a given name. Who in their right mind would name a baby Jawline?
It's what I call him. You should see his jawline. It's incredible. It can probably cut
Now
like
I
any
understand.
kind of knife.
Gotcha. Now I understand. It's a earned name.
Yes, absolutely. And I've been playing with one for you. I don't know if I like Witherspoon.
Oh, really? And she just kind of puts both of her hands on her hips, and you see one of her hands kind of going for that large wooden spoon.
It's because you always have the spoon. You know, Miss Witherspoon. It's kind of close to Withersby. It's kind of there. It's almost there.
I like my name just fine, thank you.
Okay, fair enough. I won't have to use it when I'm talking to you. It's when I refer to you to other people, so then people don't know who I'm talking about. It's a Thieves Guild thing. Don't worry about it. Everybody has a call sign. Everybody has a nickname.
Did you go and get yourself wrapped up in something?
No, I promise. I'm out of it. It's just old habits.
You better be.
I did bring something for you to try.
All right. Well, just so you know, I'm not smuggling no more files and lockpicks inside my pies for you no more.
That's fine.
All right?
That's okay.
You stay out of trouble.
I promise.
Uh-huh. What do you got for me?
So, talking about trouble, and you know, this the whole concept is deception, right? Because like, it's a steamed bun, and she'll take out these steamed buns from her carrier. Like, normally, you know, these are full of really savory things, pork or curry. You know, well, take a bite of this and tell me what you think.
All right. She reaches out and plucks one, and you know, takes a decent sized bite. What does it taste like?
It tastes very, very soft and pillowy. And when you expect in the center to be something very savory and salty, you get a burst of cherry, so something very tart, and then some sickening sweet strawberry jam. So you get this soft, pillowy, sweet, almost donut-like texture, but steamed.
She just... She kind of looks at it. That's quite good, you know.
Vi instantly gets super red and pulls her hood, like almost covering her face.
Honey, you don't have to do that around me.
I really
value. We're all equals in the bakery.
That's so kind. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, I see that you've got an entire bushel basket there full of these scrumptious little pastries. Would you like to trade?
And
she just kind of takes another bite from the puff that she already has.
I've only got 3 left, and I kind of want to give one to 80 and get her thoughts. You know, she used to work here, apparently.
Honey, you don't need to remind me about Miss 80.
That's fair, yeah.
She was one of the best helpers I had. That damn girl gone and wanted to find herself something else, just couldn't deal with him, and she kind of gestures out the front door. And she just had to quit because some hot, good-looking biscuit across the way at the florist shop just couldn't deal with it. You tell her when you see her, by the way, all she's got to do is come back. I would hire her like that.
I'll definitely let her know. I don't think she likes her current gig, so...
Well, Then why isn't she back here at my door making cookies?
I don't know. Tell me more about this guy across the street, though.
No, I'm not going to.
Oh, please, come on.
Look, scuttlebutt is for other people. People come into my shop and tell me things, and I see things, and it don't leave my shop. All right?
I'll have to drag it out of 80, though. That's the thing. I want to.
Well, good luck with that. And she kind of finishes the bit of pastry. Now, you said you have 3. That means 1 for 80, and I can barter for the other 2, and I'm willing. And she just kind of gestures towards the fresh pie.
Fruit a bag of pie. That's so weird, but very interesting.
And she's just kind of looking down.
No, I better save these. I promised Bandit one, and then I should probably give
You're
one to
gonna make me
Jawline.
beg.
I'll make you another batch. Once I can find some more jam and some more cherries, once I find somebody that will actually sell me them. Jawline is the only person that will actually sell me things, and he lives outside of the city, so I have to actually take my gondola to go visit him.
She just kind of looks at you with obvious sympathy in her eyes. Are you having trouble buying again?
Yeah, it happens.
Darn it. It's all because of those damn virtue trials coming next year. Why'd they have to announce so freaking soon? Yes, it's summer. We know they're coming. Look, you tell me what you need. I'll get it for you, and you can make it here in the shop. How's that?
Do I have to come when no one else is here?
No, you can come whenever you damn well like, for all I care. I don't care about no damn ears or what's going on underneath that hood. You know that.
You're too good to me.
Honey, I'm good to everybody that deserves to be good to.
Vi's face is bright red, and she's trying not. She's just staring at the ground.
She just walks in a practiced swift motion, comes out from behind the counter and just wraps you up in this giant bear hug. She's 6-7 inches taller than you. She's just this massive woman, and she just wraps you up. You feel your feet kind of lift up off the floor as she wraps you up.
She can feel Vi shudder a bit under all that.
It's okay, darling. She just pats you. You all have that moment for a hot minute before she sets you down. And she goes over to the counter and she snatches up a pencil and a little piece of paper. And she says, now you tell me every ingredient that you need, and I will have it here day after tomorrow.
I need more sugar.
Yeah, you rattle off all of the things that you need. She scribbles it down. You probably couldn't read the handwriting, but she can read it, and that's all that matters. And she folds it up and tucks it into her apron, and she reaches out and pats you on the side of your cheek and reaches over and picks up a couple of cookies out of a basket sitting on the counter and wraps them up in a piece of paper and hands it over to you and says, now you take that to the girls. You tell them that I miss them.
I'm going to tell them I stole them. But yes, I will tell them that you miss them too.
Just as long as you tell them you stole them from me.
Absolutely.
They'll know that you're lying.
No, I don't think so. I'm pretty deceptive.
Uh-huh. I know exactly how deceptive you are, young lady.
Thank you again for the hug. That was really nice.
Now, you don't mind any of those fools, all right?
I'll try.
All right, now. Go on. Get. I'll see you in a couple days.
She scuttles out of the bakery.
So, Vi leaves Miss Withersby behind, and this is now probably well into the afternoon, late afternoon. You're headed off to meet up with 80?
Yep.
Okay. is 80 awoken by a knock at the door, or is 80 already awake and doing stuff?
What time is it?
Probably 3 or 4 in the afternoon. She could easily have gotten a good, 7 hours of sleep.
Oh, yeah. No, then she's up. She does not love this current overnight schedule. She likes the night, but like it's entirely throwing everything off for her. So, yeah, she's definitely up. Probably having already set up things for when Mira comes home, whether she's there still or not. So, the kettle is sitting there ready. It's filled. There's a teacup and some tea, and everything is laid out really nicely. And she's got some paper ready to leave a note if she and Vi end up, leaving. But yeah, she's just sort of putzing around right now, watering plants, making sure that Crowbar isn't trying to sneak in the window again. The weather's been so nice because it's springtime and he just likes to weasel his way in, which is fine. He's welcome here, but Mr. Baba, no worries.
As 80 is watering the plants, she sees Violet coming up the stairs.
She'll throw the door open and just say, "You are late."
What do you mean? It's afternoon.
I'm just fucking with you. Come on, let's go.
Oh my God. Here, I stole these from Hearth and Home, and she'll take out the cookies and the dumplings.
Yes. Oh my God. Thank you. I don't believe you at all, but thank you.
Excuse me.
She'll grab a cookie.
Try the dumpling and tell me what you think.
Yeah. Was this yours?
No, I stole it. I told you that.
Okay. She'll try it. She really loves it. I think that this is like right up her alley, and definitely not something that she has thought to make. So it's even more exciting.
As soon as you say that, Vi gets very red and pulls up her hood again. Yeah, Mrs. Weathersby said that it was a new recipe she's trying. And she also said that you're welcome back at the bakery whenever, just so you know.
I know. But I made an ass of myself, and I don't know if I'm ready to deal with that just yet. So, just...
What do you mean? Mrs. Withersby will not care. You know that. She's like the kindest person in the world.
I know. I love her so much, and I really, really wish I was still working there, but boy stuff, I don't know. That sounds so fucking stupid when I say it, and I need to just suck it up and go back there and not work with my sister's fucking ex.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like you have boy stuff at the bakery, then you have non-binary stuff at the other place. It's like either way you're gonna have like weird stuff. So at least go somewhere where it's like nice.
Don't make
what
me
happened
like
anyways?
face
Just
my
you gotta
feelings.
tell me what happened.
There was one of the florists across the street is just the best ever. So fucking gorgeous and like nice, just like a decent, nice person, which is kind of unbelievable. And there was flirtation, okay? And then I just, I don't like date. So I had to turn him down, and it sort of crushed my spirit and I ran away. So.
And now you're doing overnights at a terrible, terrible joke club.
Yep. The real comedy is every choice I've made. So.
You have an awful and weird way to do self-harm. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Anyways,
so
when does
stuffs one of the pastries into her mouth?
To avoid making conversation. She feels stupid.
When does your sister come home?
I hope soon. I guess Mr. Babineau said that she was stressed this morning. So I don't know. I don't know what she has going on, but
we're all gonna go watch
soon.
the meteor shower, right? Like that's the plan.
Yeah. You're coming, right? Like it's happening.
Yeah. I know a great spot too, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Probably the best spot.
Okay.
Mira's
Is this a familiar spot?
her way up the stairs at this point.
Mira, the door opens, Mira walks in. You see Violet sitting there with 80, sharing some pastries.
Oh. Hey.
Yo.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I had a delightful day.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah.
Well, come sit. We've got baked goods and tea, and you can tell me all about it.
Great. I collapse onto the sofa.
As you collapse onto the sofa, you hear this, and Crowbar emerges from behind one of the pillows and throw blankets that are just balled up on the corner of the sofa, just peels himself out from behind.
Did I sit on him? Oh,
no, you just disturbed him.
Honey, I'm so sorry.
He emerges, he stretches, big yawn, and then just, props himself up, all 4 feet kind of touching each other, his round kind of plump body,
I just grab him and I bury my face into him and take in a deep breath.
He starts pushing away from you.
This is why
he's got the tea going.
I need this, Crowbar. I need this. Stay still.
Eventually Crowbar just gives up, and you're squeezing him, his arms are dangled out across, just sitting there, just God, this is my life. Why
hey, you break in here all the time. If I need a little cuddle, that's what you get.
Gotta pay the rent.
Yep.
So, tell me what's going on. Mr. Babineau says you were stressed.
Yeah, and that was before I even got there. I forgot that it was a convocation day, which is just my favorite thing. And then class was fine, but I went and I talked to Professor Evander, and he said it's fine, but I don't know. I just am really behind in class, so I don't know. But here I am. And meteors. That'll be fun, right?
Yeah, it's going to be the best.
I told him that
you kidding?
Have a good spot for us to go.
I mean, I really hadn't thought of anything, but Vi says there's a spot.
Oh.
Yeah,
cool.
I know a spot.
Great.
That would probably pique Mira's interest a little bit, that Vi would have a good spot on campus.
Yeah. I mean, where do you have in mind?
It was a spot that Fig and I used to go to after gigs to kind of talk about, how things went and stuff. It's, how they say, the higher you are, the closer you are to the ascendants.
Yeah.
It's kind of on top of the cathedral.
Oh God.
Oh, yes.
I'm okay.
It's gonna be fine. You just, we use
Sure.
some aqueducts. We come out of the old cathedral. We go up in an old turret that's not really used anymore. We climb out one window and then we climb up to a rooftop, and then we're on top.
Great. Edie, can you help me put a couple of my books away for a second?
Yeah, okay, weirdo. What?
I can't climb on top of the cathedral. Like, what the? Listen, I know you and Vi hang out all the time. I'm sure she's great. That is not what I had planned for this.
Well, where do you think we should go?
I don't have an idea.
It's the best spot. Think about it. It's the highest spot in the entire city. There's no better place to do this. Come on. It's going to be so fun. Also, fuck the cathedral.
Yeah, you're right.
Come on.
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on.
I know.
It's
Is
fun.
it gonna? I mean, the three of us have not really spent a whole lot of time together. Is it gonna be weird?
Only if you're weird.
I'm weird all the time. You know that.
I know. It's your fatal flaw.
That's
But
fine. Okay,
everything's
fine,
great.
Whatever. I'm gonna climb on top of the cathedral. It'll be fine.
Listen, everything will be great. We're going to do this. Vi is pure charm, so there will be no lack of conversation.
Okay, this is getting
I
weird now.
think-
We should go back. I'm in, whatever. Let's...
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mira, are you going to be weird about this?
No, this is great.
Okay,
This is great,
just
Vi.
don't be weird about this.
Okay, this is
Oh my God.
everything I dreamed
She's
of
weird
doing
about
today.
But she will go along with it. Don't worry. I think this is a fantastic
As long as we
plan.
don't get fucking caught, that's great.
What's the
Never get
first?
caught.
What's the first tenement of Orlemus, anyways? What is it? Shine light on the Arcana. We're basically just doing that, right? We're just going where people don't really go.
It is illuminate the arcane. You're right. Okay, that is one way to put it. All right.
What if I were to divert your panic to perhaps another
Oh no.
Panic.
What? No. Oh.
shift change?
Did you at least spit in their coffee? No, I told
because
you not to do that. Did you at least tell
I know.
them how I'm doing great and this is fine and
Yes. I said that you have never been hotter. You're doing so well everywhere. It's just, they were devastated.
are their cheekbones still so sharp?
Oh my God.
I
Stop.
just can't help it. Let's go.
I know.
Everything is panic. This is horrible.
What if we bring all of the alcohol we have in this apartment?
Yes. Yep.
And we'll
And
stop
climb
and get
on
some
something
snacks.
really high. That seems safe. Great. Let's
It's
do
totally
it.
fine. I had this person that I knew. His nickname was Bleak Season, and he worked for a circus or something. And he told me that
What?
this will make you feel better. Trust me. When you fall and there's terminal velocity, you don't fall any faster. But if there's somebody on the ground that will just give you a shove at the last second, you kind of just fall from that height.
Huh.
I think
You are the weirdest people.
So
so.
there-
If you're worried about falling, maybe I can spot you at the bottom of the cathedral and
Just
push you, just in case.
shove me. Okay,
Yeah.
Great. I love this plan. This is
I think
wonderful.
it'll work.
No flaws whatsoever.
I'm already drinking.
And on that note, you guys gather up your supplies God. Yes, that is now canon in Ysterra. Welcome, Bleak Season, to your official entrance into the world.
That's just his nickname. We don't know what his real name is.
You guys gather up your quote-unquote supplies, and it takes a good hour or so for you all to get to the cathedral anyway, even under the best of circumstances. Do you all make a stop and perhaps pick up a little bit of food so that you don't have just alcohol? The meteor shower... The meteor shower isn't supposed to happen until, an hour or so after sun's set. And so you have plenty of time to find your way to Occam and the illuminated heart in the cathedral. Is there any particular thing besides what we've discussed that you want to do to make this venture, or are you just kind of winging it and following Vi's direction?
Hey, 80, those fish tacos that you enjoyed so much, are those on the menu for tonight?
Why would you hurt me like that?
I told you.
You just had to bring it up.
I did.
God.
Okay, there's a story here. What's the story? What's going on?
Yeah, on that note, we're under some time constraints here, guys. Yes. So you find your way to the Sanctum Epidemus. Doesn't take you overly long to reach the illuminated heart. Vi, well, I guess this is a group decision, but is this a stealth run that you're doing here? Or are you guys attempting to just kind of blend in and bluff your way through?
I imagine it being very drunkenly stealthy.
I'm assuming that you haven't gotten shit-faced yet. I'm going to say that there is a general rule of thumb that you're not allowed to drink on gondolas for fear of, falling off the gondola and drowning. So I'll ask the group then. Is this a stealth run, or are you guys attempting to blend in?
Because I know that this is freaking Mira the fuck out, I think being as inconspicuous as possible is probably for the best. Yeah.
Yeah, I think for Violet too, she is pretty used to trying to be more hidden, especially with like the hood and her hair and stuff.
Okay. Why don't you guys go ahead and roll a group stealth check then, please?
Is this the first roll of the night?
It is.
Yes.
Oh my god.
First roll of campaign 1, chapter 1. I saw one good roll out of that mess.
Well,
What'd you guys get?
I got a 12.
Twinsies, I also got a 12.
I got 24.
So once again, Vi is carrying 80 through. And in this case, carrying 80 and Mira through. Thankfully for all of you, there's a decent amount of chaos going on at the Illuminated Heart. Word has spread of this amazing meteor shower that is taking place this evening. The diviners had only really learned about it a few days prior. So there isn't a whole lot of setup taking place. Normally something like this, like the city would have sponsored a whole viewing celebration. The bridge across the waterfall would be, decorated, and there'd be like gondolas, and barges set up all around, offering food and other services to onlookers and the like. But in this case, being so quick of a turnaround, it's a little bit more chaotic, we'll say. And particularly at the Illuminated Heart, where quite a number of individuals have taken up various positions in the courtyards and the open spaces of not just the cathedral, but also Occam and the surrounding district and island in particular. It's pretty packed. And so by the time you guys actually reach the old turret that Vi had hinted at in the loose discussion of the plan that you had earlier, there's quite a number of folk around that you're able to kind of use to your advantage to surreptitiously make your way to where you need to go. Vi leads you through some of the passageways, and it's very noticeable, I'll say, to Mira in particular, but probably to AD as well, that Vi is very practiced at this. This is a scenario that Vi has done on many an occasion, and it shows in the way that they're navigating everything that they're doing. Like, you turn a corridor and Vi automatically knows that there's a door just a few feet down the way of that corridor and has already opened it by the time AD and Mira have caught up. And so it doesn't take very long for at least AD anyway to feel perhaps a little bit lost in the maze that is this enormous, grandiose cathedral. Question for Deb, is this areas that is even unfamiliar to Mira?
I think a little bit. She's had to do some service in the cathedral as part of her, schooling, but that doesn't give her sort of carte blanche access to everything. So there are, I think, the farther in we get, the more unfamiliar some of the locations are.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a intelligence check for me, please.
$18.
18. Pretty good. There's been... Mira studies everything, right? And she has frequently studied the notion of the power inherent in the world that kind of permeates through everything. It's almost like magic is believed to be an invisible presence that is able to be manipulated by the few, and people who study the arcane. Oh, hey there, Dirty Rollers. Welcome in. Glad you could join us. You're catching us towards the end. We're about to wrap up here. The study of the arcane allows people to kind of understand the manipulation in ways that, most people that don't just believe is either superstition or that kind of invisible thing that everybody, says is there sort of deal. There's a certain amount of skepticism that comes with things until they see the power that can come from magic and the like. And through that study that Mira has done, she has come to learn that there are parts of the cathedral that aren't designed just to gather the light of the suns, but also to gather the energies that exist in the world. And parts of the cathedral are almost like conduits for that power. And as you venture into kind of this old quarter of the cathedral, into this lesser used turret area, you start to spot certain ways, certain geometric shapes in the architectural layout, in the pillars, the way that the pillars themselves are designed. You start to pick out some of that construction in this older part of the cathedral, and it's kind of surprising to Mira in a little bit of a way. But she doesn't have a lot of time to dwell on that, as the trio led by Violet continues their way up the spires until you eventually reach the dreaded window. The venture out onto a windowsill to leverage your way up onto the roof above, which will lead you to a passageway supposedly that can take you into the upper reaches of the cathedral. Vi is very practiced at this, does not need to make a roll or anything. Vi has done this dozens of times, knows exactly how to do it, and so you quickly see Vi disappear through the window and hoist themselves up onto the roof above. You hear the faintest commotion of their movements on the roof above, and there Adi and Mira stand at the window.
Well, no time like the present, I guess. Like, strap my satchel full of wine or whatever we brought, make sure that's on securely, and just sort of like peek out to see how the hell Violet was able to get where she got.
I'm assuming, Andrew, that Violet is offering a helping hand for Mira and Adi to come up, yeah?
Yeah, at first she'll be like, yeah, just grab the thing and pull yourself up and put your foot there, and giving awful instructions. And then we'll eventually reach down and help.
Yeah. Thank you.
So
but she's not very strong.
You'll need to do either an athletics or an acrobatics check, but you do have assistance from Vi, so you get to roll that with advantage.
Okay. 19.
Nice. So yeah, Vi or Adi reaches up, grabs Vi's hand, almost pulls Vi like down. Vi slides just a little bit before locking her feet or hooking her feet onto something on the roof, and Adi kind of uses Vi as like a leverage point to climb all the way up. It's probably a little bit straining for Vi, and also it's probably worth mentioning to you, Andrew. In your previous excursions, Vi would have been 80 in 80's spot in the previous endeavors to come here, getting the helping hand. So there's a moment there for that in Vi's mind before Mira pokes her head out the window.
My turn.
You can do this.
How does Mira react being, like, at this point, probably 200 feet up?
She's had enough wine by this point that she's like, yep, let's do this.
All right. She's had just enough wine, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's the thing. The more Mira drinks, the more she gets a little risky. And on the rare occasions that Adi drinks, she gets more cautious. So
you guys switch places when
we
the two
do,
of you
yeah.
drink.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Nice.
Come
Go
on.
ahead and roll either athletics or acrobatics with advantage.
That's a
natural 1 and a natural 15 on the die.
17.
Nice. Thankfully, with the advantage in there, Vi is wholly not prepared at this point. Vi's like kind of maybe disorienting a little bit lost in the flashback of memory from like the last time that they were up here, as they feel Mira's hand grab onto them and just Mira start pulling herself up across Vi's body. How does Vi react?
I'm sorry, I got a little distracted there. Yeah, I think Vi's fine, I guess. I don't know.
All right. 80 and Mira, you are now standing in the tallest place that you've ever been in your lives. And there is a relatively easy, like it's stairs, but it's that open spaced stair where it's just like the platform and open space. And it kind of crisscrosses back and forth as it goes up the tallest portion of the cathedral spire. And so there's a little bit of daunting experience every step that you take, particularly for the two of you, not so much Vi. Feels more than the previous.
I reach out and I'll hold on to Mira's hand as we make our way up.
Okay. You look out across the city of Orlustran with awe. The cityscape beneath you, the lights of it, the people that you see as distant as they might be hundreds of feet below you at this point, the sheer number of people. And the number of people out in the city, on the streets, and in the canals isn't even the full populace of the city for sure. It's just the people that wanted to come out and, be with one another during this illustrious event. And it's mind-boggling to see all of these people. You've been in and among them for almost a year at this point, and now that you're able to see Orlustran from a view that you had never experienced, even in your childhood growing up here, it's awe-inspiring, to say the least. Vi, though, there's a little bit of sorrow, in a way, a reminiscence of this view that you have seen so many times before with someone else. And it isn't until the first meteor streaks across the sky before Vi is able to shake herself out of it. The first meteor, orange, turning red at the front, tail of white and yellow streaks across the sky, and there's this collective ooh from the city beneath. The music and festivities that had spontaneously erupted below kind of all stop as this one meteor streaks across. And then there's the slow din of conversation and commotion that arises in the time after that single meteor streaks, as people are wondering, is that it? Is that really what we came out for? Sort of deal. But then it's silenced very quickly as another one streaks across. And then another. And then another, until the entire sky practically is filled with hundreds of meteors, maybe 1,000 that streak across the sky. Who among you has the highest passive perception?
15.
10.
Mine's 13, so I guess it's 80.
80. You're watching this, and you perhaps haven't drunk quite as much as Mira has at this point. And as was previously mentioned, you become a little bit more coherent, perhaps less risk-takey, I believe was the word that you had used previously. And so you're a little bit more cognizant. You're a little bit more aware. You're kind of taking in this expression of amazement in the heavens themselves, maybe in a way that Mira has during her studies, and it awakens something within you, this feeling deep within, and you can only hope that this is what Mira feels every single time that she has gone to study all of these amazing things such as this in her arcane study. And then you notice a different meteor that stands out, at least to you, amongst the rest. You start to point at it, and you're not sure what to say, as there's this one that has that seems to be surrounded by a halo of blue. Instead of the red, the white, and the yellow that makes up the fire that rains across the sky, this one has this silhouette, this almost like gorgeous light wrapped within it as it streaks. And you start to point at it more furiously, and you kind of elbow Mira and are saying, "What's that one? What's that one?" And it's at that point that Vi and Mira are able to spot this one that 80 points out as well, as it streaks and starts diverging away from the rest of the meteors. It's not above the horizon. It's not in the heavens. It's in the sky. It's close. You see it as it courses across in front of you, and you're certain that it's headed towards the northern mountains. This one meteor flying away from the others, headed towards the mountains. And you three stand there just in shock, unable to really reconcile what that is, before a light erupts in its wake. It only lasts the briefest of moments, just before the meteor disappears into the mountains to the north, into the storm song, into the treacherousness that you know exists miles north of the city. There's this burst of light, and a sigil forms within the light. A sigil that Mira recognizes. And that's where we're going to call it tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
It's good.
Do we have to?
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us tonight in the premiere episode of Chapter 1 in this tale, Ysterra, the Far Horizon. I hope to see you all again very soon. We'll see you again next week.